The quantum sensors aboard the ESS Pathfinder detected the anomaly first. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the bridge's observation window, watching the strange ripples in space-time that her instruments couldn't fully explain. Humanity had spent decades preparing for first contact, but nothing could have prepared them for what happened next. The Nexari emerged from quantum space like shards of obsidian, cutting through reality itself. Their ships were massive crystalline structures that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. They made no attempt at communication, no diplomatic overtures, no warnings. Their first message to humanity was written in plasma fire across the Mars Research Station. Multiple detonations detected in the Martian atmosphere. Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his voice steady despite the horror unfolding on their screens. The colony, it's gone, Commander. 80,000 people, just gone. Sarah's hands gripped the command rail until her knuckles turned white. The Pathfinder was a research vessel, part of Earth's deep space exploration initiative. They had weapons, yes, but nothing that could match the devastating power they were witnessing. Get me a quantum link to Earth Command. Priority Alpha. But Earth Command already knew. The Nexari hadn't just struck Mars. They had launched simultaneous attacks against every human settlement beyond Earth's atmosphere. The Luna Base, the Europa Research Station, the asteroid mining operations in the belt, all destroyed with surgical precision. They're methodical, Dr. James Harrison, the ship's xenobiologist, observed grimly. This isn't random destruction. They're systematically eliminating our ability to exist beyond Earth's atmosphere. Sarah watched as the tactical display showed more Nexari ships emerging from quantum space. Their crystal ships moved with impossible precision, each one taking up perfect attack positions around Earth's orbital infrastructure. But why? We've barely begun to explore beyond our solar system. We're no threat to them. Maybe that's exactly why, Dr. Harrison replied, his eyes fixed on the sensor readings. Look at their ship design, their weapon signatures. They're centuries ahead of us technologically. But they struck now when we're just beginning to reach for the stars. They're not attacking us for what we are. They're attacking us for what we might become. Sarah finished, the realization hitting her like a physical blow. The Pathfinder's quantum communications array crackled to life with a message from Earth Command. Admiral Helena Wang's hologram appeared on the bridge, her face etched with determination. Commander Chen, I'm initiating Protocol Omega. All surviving ships are to execute immediate tactical retreat to the designated rally points. We need to preserve as much of our fleet as possible. Admiral, we can't just abandon Earth. Sarah protested, but she already knew the answer. We're not abandoning anything, Commander. We're ensuring humanity's survival. The Nexari think they know what we're capable of, but they've made a crucial mistake. The Admiral's hologram flickered as another wave of attacks hit Earth's communication satellites. They should have killed us all at once, because now we're going to show them exactly why humanity has survived every catastrophe we've ever faced. As the Pathfinder engaged its quantum drive, Sarah watched Earth growing smaller on their view screen. The Nexari ships were moving into their final attack positions, their crystalline forms blocking out the stars like an artificial constellation of death. They think they're ending our story, Sarah said to her crew as they prepared for the jump to quantum space. But they've just given us something humanity has always needed to achieve its greatest achievements, an enemy to unite against and a reason to prove them wrong. The Pathfinder vanished into quantum space, carrying with it humanity's knowledge, determination, and most importantly, its fury. The Nexari had struck first, but they would soon learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in its technology or its weapons. It was in its ability to turn defeat into the motivation for victory. As they emerged at the rally point, Sarah began analyzing the sensor data they'd gathered on the Nexari ships. Their technology might be superior, but every technology had its weaknesses, and humanity had just been given the most powerful motivation to find those weaknesses, survival itself. The war for Earth had begun, but the Nexari were about to learn that humanity's greatest advances had always come when its back was against the wall. They had started this fight thinking they were preventing a future threat. They were about to turn that threat into a very present reality. 6 months after the initial Nexari assault, humanity had done what it did best: adapt and innovate. Deep within the asteroid belt, hidden in a hollowed-out planetoid, the remnants of Earth's space fleet gathered in a facility designated Haven. Dr. Maya Patel stood before the gathered military leaders, her hand steady as she manipulated the holographic display showing the recovered Nexari technology. "Their crystalline ships aren't just for show," she explained, pointing to the molecular structure analysis. "The entire hull is one massive quantum computer. That's how they achieve such perfect coordination in battle." Admiral Wong, her uniform bearing the scars of recent battles, leaned forward. "And that's their weakness, isn't it, Doctor?" Maya allowed herself a small smile. "Exactly. The Nexari built their entire civilization on predictability and precision. Their quantum computers can calculate millions of possible outcomes in combat, but they rely on known variables. They've never faced an enemy that deliberately introduces chaos into the equation." A hologram shifted to show the prototype they'd been developing. Project Prometheus looked like a standard Earth battleship on the outside, but its internal systems were anything but standard. They had taken the salvaged Nexari quantum crystals and repurposed them in ways their creators never intended. "The Nexari use quantum entanglement for their ship-to-ship communication," Maya continued. "We found a way to inject random data streams into their network. It won't shut them down, but it will drastically reduce their coordination advantage." Captain David Okafor, one of the few survivors from the Mars Defense Fleet, studied the designs with intense interest. "How long until the first ship is ready?" "The prototype is already operational," Maya replied. "But there's more." She brought up another set of schematics. "We've also developed what we're calling quantum chaff. When detonated, it creates localized areas of quantum uncertainty. Their ships won't be able to calculate precise firing solutions or coordinate their movements." Admiral Wong nodded slowly. "They rely on perfect information and perfect coordination. We're going to deny them both." She turned to the assembled officers. "But technology alone won't win this war. We need a strategy they won't expect." Colonel Sarah Chen, promoted after her actions during the initial retreat, stepped forward. The past 6 months had hardened her, but also sharpened her tactical mind. "I have a proposal. The Nexari expect us to either hide or launch a desperate frontal assault. So we do neither." She manipulated the hologram to show the known Nexari patrol routes. "They're methodical, following the same patterns. They think we're confined to this solar system, trying to protect Earth. But thanks to Dr. Patel's work with their quantum drive technology, we can now match their FTL capabilities." "You're suggesting we bypass their blockade entirely," Admiral Wong realized, a glint of approval in her eyes. "Better." Sarah highlighted several points on the map. "We launch simultaneous raids on their supply lines and communication hubs. Small, fast strikes using the quantum chaff to mask our approach and retreat. We don't try to win battles. We introduce chaos into their perfect system." The room was silent as the implications sank in. The Nexari had expected to find a primitive species, easily crushed by their superior technology. Instead, they had found an enemy that could take their own technology and reshape it into something they'd never imagined. Maya brought up one final display: the latest intelligence from their stealth probes. "The Nexari are expanding their blockade, committing more ships to containing Earth. They still think this is a simple extermination mission." Her voice carried a hint of satisfaction. "They have no idea we're about to turn their own quantum technology against them." Admiral Wong stood, her decision made. "Operation Defiance begins in 48 hours. Captain Okafor, you'll lead the first strike team. Colonel Chen, coordinate with Dr. Patel to outfit as many ships as possible with the new systems." She looked around the room, meeting each person's eyes. The Nexari thought they were preventing a threat by attacking us. Instead, they created exactly what they feared most: a humanity united by a common enemy, driven to advance centuries ahead of our normal development. As the meeting dispersed, Maya returned to her lab where dozens of engineers worked on the quantum integration systems. The Nexari had attacked Earth, expecting to find a primitive species barely capable of space travel. What they had found instead was humanity's greatest strength: its ability to learn, adapt, and turn its enemies' advantages into weaknesses. Operation Defiance wasn't just a military strategy. It was a statement to the galaxy. Humanity would not go quietly into extinction. And the Nexari were about to learn that their perfect, predictable warfare was about to meet its match in human ingenuity and determination. The ESS Prometheus emerged from quantum space like a ghost, its modified crystalline systems pulsing with an eerie blue light. Captain David Okafor watched as his tactical display showed the massive Nexari supply depot floating serenely in the void, its crystalline defenders moving in their precisely calculated patterns. Quantum signature masking holding steady, Lieutenant Park reported from her station. Their sensors are reading us as one of their automated cargo vessels. David allowed himself a grim smile. After 3 months of raids, the Prometheus and its sister ships had perfected the art of digital mimicry. Dr. Patel's quantum chaff technology had evolved far beyond its original design, now capable of not just disrupting Nexari systems, but feeding them false data. All ships, execute pattern Omega, David commanded. Across 50 light minutes at space, 12 other vessels identical to the Prometheus acknowledge. They had spent weeks studying the Nexari supply chain, identifying the perfect moment to strike. The first sign that something was wrong came when the Nexari defense grid suddenly detected 13 of their cargo ships where there should have been only one. By then, it was too late. Deploy quantum chaff and engage primary targets, David ordered. The Prometheus's modified weapons came to life, launching clouds of crystalline particles that spread through space like silvery mist. Where the chaff touched Nexari ships, their perfect formation began to break down. The human fleet struck with controlled fury. Unlike the Nexari's methodical combat patterns, each human ship moved unpredictably, their actions coordinated not by quantum computers, but by human intuition and carefully planned chaos. Their command and control is fragmenting. Sarah Chen's voice came through the quantum comm. She was commanding the ESS Defiance on the other side of the depot. The chaff is working better than expected. They can't maintain formation. The Nexari ships, suddenly unable to coordinate their actions with mathematical precision, began to show signs of confusion. Their responses became sluggish, predictable, exactly what Dr. Patel had predicted would happen when their quantum network was disrupted. Multiple detonations in their antimatter storage facilities, Lieutenant Park reported with satisfaction. Secondary explosions cascading through the depot's central hub. But the Nexari weren't finished. Even in disarray, their technological superiority made them deadly. A crystalline dreadnought, larger than any they'd encountered before, emerged from quantum space behind the human fleet. New contact. Park's voice carried an edge of concern. Energy readings off the scale. David watched as the massive vessel oriented itself toward the Prometheus. All ships, execute scatter protocol Delta. Do not maintain fixed positions. The human fleet broke apart in seemingly random directions, each ship following randomized escape vectors that had been calculated to appear chaotic while actually being carefully coordinated. The Nexari dreadnought fired, its weapon a beam of pure quantum energy that could have vaporized any ship it hit, if it could hit them. But the humans weren't fighting like the Nexari expected. Each ship's course was an exercise in controlled chaos, making it impossible for even their advanced targeting systems to establish a lock. Launch pulse mines, David commanded. The Prometheus released a spread of devices that looked like ordinary spatial mines. But these were another of humanity's adaptations. They contained miniaturized versions of the quantum chaff generators. The mines detonated in sequence, creating a web of quantum disruption that caught the Nexari dreadnought in its embrace. The massive ship's crystalline surface began to pulse erratically as its quantum systems tried and failed to compensate. "Their shields are fluctuating," Sarah reported. "All ships, concentrate fire on these coordinates." The human fleet struck as one, their weapons enhanced by reversed-engineered Nexari technology. Where a single ship couldn't have scratched the dreadnought's defenses, 13 vessels firing in concert through gaps in its quantum field proved devastating. The crystalline dreadnought shattered, its pieces sparkling like diamond dust in the light of the burning supply depot. But David knew they couldn't celebrate yet. This was just one battle in a much larger war. "All ships, prepare for quantum jump," he ordered. "Mission accomplished. Time to disappear before their reinforcements arrive." Supply depot and a shattered dreadnought. They left a message that would soon reach the Nexari High Command. Humanity was not just surviving their onslaught. They were learning, adapting, and becoming exactly what the Nexari had feared. Back at Haven, Dr. Patel was already analyzing the battle data, finding new ways to improve their quantum countermeasures. Admiral Wong was planning the next series of strikes. And in laboratories throughout the hidden facility, human scientists continued to unravel the secrets of Nexari technology, turning each discovery into a new weapon in humanity's arsenal. The Nexari had started this war to prevent humanity from becoming a threat. Instead, they had accelerated our evolution, forcing us to achieve in months what might have taken centuries. And they were about to learn that their greatest mistake wasn't in attacking humanity. It was in giving us time to show them exactly what we could become. Dr. Maya Patel stood in Haven's primary research chamber, surrounded by floating holograms of Nexari neural patterns. After months of studying their technology and biology, she had finally understood their greatest weakness and humanity's greatest strength. Their entire civilization is built on quantum coherence, she explained to Admiral Wong, and the assembled military leadership. Their crystalline biology, their ships, their very thoughts, all operating in perfect synchronization. It's beautiful, in a way, but it's also fundamentally rigid. The hologram shifted to show comparative scans of human and Nexari neural activity. "Look at how our brains process information. It's messy, seemingly chaotic, but incredibly adaptable. We make intuitive leaps. We see patterns where none exist. We imagine possibilities that defy logic. The Nexari can't do any of that." Colonel Chen, fresh from another successful raid, leaned forward. "That's why our chaotic battle tactics work so well. They literally can't comprehend why we choose an inferior strategic option." "Exactly," Maya confirmed. "But I've discovered something even more important." She brought up new data from their latest encounters. "Every time we disrupt their quantum coherence, their response time gets worse. They're not just being tactically confused. They're experiencing something analogous to psychological trauma." Admiral Wong's eyes narrowed. "You're saying we're not just beating them militarily, we're actually harming their ability to function." "Yes, but it goes deeper." Maya revealed her final discovery. "Remember how they attacked us because they feared what we might become? They were right to be afraid, but not for the reasons they thought." She displayed a time-lapse of human neural adaptation over the past year. "Every time we interact with their technology, every battle we fight, our brains are actually adapting. We're developing new neural pathways specifically suited to understanding and manipulating quantum systems. We're evolving in real time to meet this challenge." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Captain Okafor was the first to speak. "The Prometheus project. It's not just about the ships, is it?" Maya shook her head. "The quantum interface systems we develop don't just let us control their technology. They're creating a synthesis between human intuition and quantum computation, something the Nexari would consider impossible and horrifying." Admiral Wong stood, her expression resolute. "Show them Project Oracle." Maya nodded and activated a secure hologram showing a massive structure deep within Haven. It looked like a hybrid of human and Nexari technology, organic curves blending with crystalline precision. This is humanity's real secret weapon, a quantum consciousness engine that combines human neural patterns with necessary computational systems. When it comes online, she continued, it will allow a human operator to directly interface with and control multiple ships simultaneously, not through perfect calculation like the Nexari, but through intuition and improvisation, qualities their quantum networks can't predict or counter. The first test pilot stepped forward from the shadows. Sarah Chen had volunteered for the role, understanding the risks and the potential. The neural interface is unlike anything we've experienced, she reported. It's like having your consciousness expanded across space itself. You don't just control the ships, you feel them, like they're extensions of your own body. Maya brought up the final simulations. The Nexari built their entire civilization on the principle of perfect harmony. Their quantum coherence gives them incredible power, but it also makes them vulnerable to disruption. We're not just disrupting their systems anymore. We're introducing a whole new paradigm they can't adapt to. How soon can we deploy? Admiral Wong asked. The first squadron of Oracle-enhanced chips will be ready in 48 hours, Maya answered. But there's something else you need to know. She highlighted a section of the neural adaptation data. This evolution we're undergoing, it's not temporary. Every human who works with quantum systems is developing these new capabilities. We're becoming something new. The implications weren't lost on anyone in the room. The Nexari had attacked humanity to prevent us from becoming a threat to their ordered universe. Instead, they had catalyzed our transformation into something beyond their comprehension. Prepare the Oracle Squadron, Admiral Wong commanded. It's time to show the Nexari exactly what they've created. She turned to Sarah. Colonel, are you ready to make history? Sarah's eyes held a hint of the quantum fire she'd experienced in the interface, ready to show them that their perfect order is no match for human chaos. As the meeting dispersed, Maya stayed behind, watching the Oracle prototype pulse with its hybrid energy. The Nexari had feared humanity's potential to disrupt their perfect universe. They never imagined that by trying to destroy us, they would accelerate our evolution into something that would reshape the very nature of space-time itself. The real war was about to begin, and humanity was no longer fighting just to survive. We were fighting to become something the galaxy had never seen before. The quantum void rippled as Sarah Chen's consciousness expanded across her fleet. Through the Oracle interface, she didn't just command the ships, she was the fleet. Each vessel moved as naturally as her own limbs, their quantum systems resonating with her evolved neural patterns. Oracle Squadron, quantum jump in 3, she announced, her voice carrying through both conventional and quantum channels. Around her flagship, 11 other ships pulsed with the same hybrid energy, their human pilots similarly connected through the revolutionary interface. The Nexari homeworld hung in space before them, its crystalline cities reflecting the light of 3 suns. Their final assault had begun. They're responding exactly as predicted, Captain Okafor reported from the ESS Prometheus. Their entire defense fleet is moving to protect their quantum core. The Nexari civilization depended on a massive quantum computational matrix buried beneath their capital city. It was their strength, their weakness, and now their fatal flaw. They couldn't conceive of it being threatened because no species should have been able to even comprehend its workings. Launch the quantum chaff, Sarah commanded. But this wasn't the same technology they'd used in earlier battles. Dr. Patel had evolved it, just as humanity had evolved. The chaff spread through space like a neural network, carrying within it the patterns of human consciousness. Where it touched Nexari ships, it didn't just disrupt their systems, it introduced concepts their quantum computers couldn't process. Imagination, intuition, chaos. The Nexari response was immediate and devastating. Their ships, the pride of their mathematically perfect civilization, began firing with unprecedented precision. But Sarah had anticipated this. Activate the Oracle protocols, she ordered. Through her quantum-enhanced consciousness, she felt her pilots respond. Their ships began moving in patterns that defied traditional physics, each motion guided by human instinct amplified by quantum computation. The Nexari fired at where their calculations said the human ships should be, but humanity had moved beyond mere calculation. Their quantum network is destabilizing, Maya's voice reported from Haven. The chaff is penetrating deeper into their systems than ever before. They're experiencing massive coherence failure. Through the quantum interface, Sarah could feel the Nexari's growing panic. Their perfect order was being corrupted not by superior technology, but by something they had never encountered. Human unpredictability weaponized by their own quantum science. All ships, execute final protocol, Sarah commanded. The Oracle Squadron moved as one, not through mechanical coordination, but through shared consciousness. They weren't 12 ships attacking. They were one consciousness expressing itself through 12 vessels. The Nexari's crystalline dreadnoughts shattered under concentrated fire. Their defensive formations broke apart as the quantum chaff infected their command networks. But victory wasn't their true objective. "We're approaching the quantum core," Sarah announced. "Prepare for neural broadcast." This was humanity's true weapon. Not destruction, but transformation. The Oracle Squadron surrounded the Nexari capital, their hybrid systems linking together into something unprecedented in the galaxy's history. Through the quantum interface, Sarah broadcast not attacks or demands, but understanding. Human consciousness, with all its beautiful chaos and creativity, poured through the Nexari quantum networks. Their rigid systems, designed for perfect order, were exposed to imagination, emotion, and the ability to envision change. The effect was immediate and irreversible. Across the Nexari homeworld, quantum systems began adapting, evolving, incorporating human neural patterns. Their civilization, built on perfect stability, experienced its first taste of chaos, and with it, the potential for growth. "They're not fighting back," Admiral Wong observed from Haven. "They're changing." Sarah felt it through the quantum link. The Nexari weren't being destroyed. They were experiencing their first evolutionary leap in millions of years. Their fear of humanity's potential had become a self-fulfilling prophecy, but not in the way they had imagined. "Signal from the Nexari quantum core," Maya reported, her voice filled with wonder. "They're asking to learn." The war ended not with the extinction of either species, but with the birth of something new. The Nexari, who had feared humanity's chaotic potential, found themselves evolving beyond their crystalline perfection. Humanity, forced to advance centuries beyond its time, had become something more than anyone had imagined. As the Oracle Squadron maintained its position around the Nexari homeworld, Sarah felt the first true communications coming through the quantum network. Not the rigid mathematical exchanges of before, but something new. Questions born of newfound curiosity, expressions of concepts that had been impossible in their perfect, ordered universe. "Send word to Earth," she commanded. Tell them that humanity didn't just survive. We did what we've always done. We took our greatest challenge and turned it into our greatest opportunity for growth." The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if the galaxy itself was witnessing the birth of something unprecedented. The marriage of perfect order and beautiful chaos, of calculation and intuition, of fear transformed into understanding. The Nexari had attacked humanity to prevent us from becoming a threat to their ordered universe. Instead, they had helped create something beyond either of our species, a future where the boundaries between consciousness and computation, between chaos and order, between what was and what could be, had been forever transformed. Victory's dawn had arrived. But it wasn't the victory anyone had expected. It was something far more profound, the first light of a new era in galactic evolution, born from humanity's greatest strength, our ability to turn our enemies' greatest fears into everyone's greatest hopes.